Hello, everybody. I'm live. Wow. This is one mad scientist. And boy, am I mad. So, I thought I'd have a look at the previous things. Violet's a bit busy at the moment. She may join later. In the meantime, I thought I'd vent a bit. And what a great way to start off a watercolour painting. Yes, painting. Watercolour painting. Let's have a go. Let's see what can be done right now when you've thrown care to the winds. Okay, so this is what we were doing before. This was when we were trying different things, different colours, trying to get a nice, decent blue that I was trying to get for the fork storm. And I tried various things. This one is Prussian blue and Nigella. Nigella being not one of these. One of the other ones, which I have thrown into the wind somewhere, and who knows where it may land. So, yeah. It's the one with the pretty colours. Lots and lots of thingamies. Metallics. So one of them was called Nigella, right? So I did Nigella up to about there. And we have left, oh, here we are. This bit, which is just Prussian blue. So the whole thing had Prussian blue. And that bit was just Nigella on top. Not just Nigella, it was on top of the Prussian blue. And Nigella is one of these. Not entirely sure which one. Probably that one. Because I think that was the closest to the colour I was thinking about. Oh, that's Blue Pearl. That's this one. Nigella. No, it'll be one of the others. It'll be one of these as I opened to begin with. Ariel. No. Dory. Something Night. No, not any of them. Must be one of these. Nigella, there we are. So that was Nigella. And the whole thing first had Prussian blue on it. And then I put Nigella over the top up to that point. Okay? So that was that. Right? And then this one, which I haven't actually opened yet, is just ultramarine from the same there we go, paint box, which I believe was this one, which contains some new Roman schmalls. So that's Prussian blue, and this one is the ultramarine intense, and boy is it well named. Let's get all these out of the way. We'll do another swatch at some point so you can see what's what in one go instead of having all these bits everywhere. Right, so that's Prussian blue intense. No, sorry, ultramarine intense, as it says there. Ultramarine intense, yes. So that one was on here. And this one is Cecilia. And Cecilia is one of these. It's not that one, so it must be in the other box. Get that out of the way. It'll be one of these. It's this one, which I thought was a lovely colour. and quite likely to be the right sort of colour. So that's Sicilia on top of ultramarine. So we've got ultramarine on its own here. We've got Prussian blue on its own here. And here we've got the metallics on top. That's quite good. If we hold it up, it's pretty neat. Yeah. So that's Scylla. Or Scylla, I don't know. And then we've got this one, which is blue pearl, which is in fact this lumpy one over here, which I use quite a bit of. That's blue pearl. This is from, gosh, who was that from? I'll put it in the description below if I can figure it out. But I do know who it was from. I just have to, Katie, I think, possibly. This one has two underneath. It has Dory, which is I believe this one. Yep, that's Dory. It says Dory on it. Nice colour. So that one's got Dory. Haven't quite pulled it all off. There we are. Next to it is Ariel. Now Ariel is this one, also from the stuff from Gillian at Nibs Pens and Ink. So these two are from Nibs Pens and Ink, right? That's Dory and that's Ariel. Now I thought Ariel would be the one, the first one I put down, but I'm not so sure looking at it now. Looking at these, I think Sicilia on ultramarine is the best option. It's closest to what I actually imagined. Blue pearl, although it looks right here, doesn't look so right here. It's fine, but it's not what I was hoping for. Ariel is closer. So Ariel is still a possibility, which is that one, which is the first one I looked at in this tin, thinking, that may work, right? So Ariel is a possibility, and Sicilia here is also a good option. So those two. This one on ultramarine looks quite good. I'm feeling the ultramarine might be necessary for this one to show up right. These metallics don't seem to show up in quite the intensity I'd hoped for without something in the background. Dory doesn't really look all that intense at all. I mean, it looks all right when you get the light to hit it, but this looks better. So I think Dory is out. I do hope I'm putting these back in the right places. Cecilia, I think Cecilia was from here, wasn't it? It's got her writing on it. Where's Dory? There. Yes, Dory has got the printed label, so it belongs in there. Cecilia has the written label, cornflower. Cecilia, written labels. So these are from this one. I have to put a little label in here so I know what they are. I can't remember offhand. Oh, here we are. There's something. Handmade with Love by KJ Design by Karen. That's who it is. KJ Design by Karen. So that's who that's from. Well, there we are. It was on the lid after all. Right, so I'm thinking this is the best bet. That looks great like that, but it's only ultramarine. It's got no fire, no sparkle. But this one has. So perhaps the best idea is to put ultramarine down, leave it to dry, and then put the Cecilia on top, which is this one. Well, that's not exactly a decision, but that's what I'm thinking. Knowing me, I could easily change my mind. So we'll put that to one side by now because I want to do something else. Because I've been really frustrated by something, some real life thing. I want to have an attack at something. And the best thing to have an attack at is a piece of watercolour paper. So I've got here some Roman schmaltz and some schminky, either way around, watercolor paints. These are granulating, and I've got the granulating medium, and I've tried the granulating medium on a couple of them, and it really does make a bit of difference. So let's try some more. But I'm thinking I'm using these and these, possibly a bit of this, this, and this. What's that one? That one is very stuck down. Indigo blue. So we might need to use what's on the paper to not waste it. That is Prussian blue, and that is strontium violet. Okay. Can I get that off without too much problem? Yes, I can. Right. Strontium violet. I've got ultramarine intense there, which is the one I liked so much. This is, let me just peel this off if I can. The green seems reluctant to let go of the paint. Phthalo green, yellow shade. So we'll see if we can't get some of that. And this one is cherry quinacridone red. And that's reluctant to give up as well, isn't it? It comes like this with the wax paper on. Perylene vermilion. Oh, that came off nicely. And then we've got this one, which is quinacridone scarlet. Is that going to give up the ghost? Oh, it did. Thought it wasn't going to for a moment there. But it did. Perylene maroon. Oh, yeah. Lovely. And this one is ginger red ruby. Why not? There you go. And this one, this is the one that didn't want to come off. Indigo hue. Yeah, he didn't want to come off. Well, we'll see what we can do with that. And this last one here, the yellow, which is gamboge hue. And that's quite sticky. I don't want to give up either. Got a bit, most of it off though. So let's see. Right. Now, I've had a bad experience today. Mostly frustration. Some anger creeping in there. So let's see if we can't vent that onto a piece of paper and purge ourselves. My idea anyway. Right. Let's get a nice... What have we got? We've got this one and this one. That's just a mop. Nick Pro Round. That's a mop, but it's a bit fluffy. Then there's this one, which is similar size to that, but not quite, which is quite my favourite. I keep staining it. The Artway Quill. And then I've also got this massive, great big thing, which is the number 8 Artway. And then there's this one, which is the medium professional watercolour synthetic squirrel quill, Winsor & Newton. So there should be another one somewhere. There ought to be another one. I've got another round there, but it's gulped. Not fancying that one much. I have got this one, which is the Overwash, which I really like. I like that one. But there should be another quill somewhere. I've only got 2 of these. There should be another one. So, where's the other one? There's another round, which is number 12. Nothing in particular. Who knows what? So we want the red one. Where's the red one? Have a look through all these. Is it a bother to you looking through all your brushes and going, where's that one I like? Because it's bound to be in the pot you didn't think you'd put it in. I've got another round in the Nick Pro and yet another round which is quite a nice big one, which I haven't actually used yet. So that's a possibility. And there's these 2 rounds I haven't used yet. You can tell because they're the ones with the sheaths still on. Because you're not supposed to attempt to try and put the sheaths back on once you've used them, because you can just crush some of the hairs of the brush back down where they shouldn't be. Well, I don't seem to see that other one in there, so let's give it up. There's she frantically looking another time. Definitely not in here, is it? No, it's not in there. Oh, I've got a black in there. I bet that's gouache. No, it's acrylic, so that's all right. I don't need that. What about this one? Black noir, watercolour, so I could use that one. I try not to mix acrylic in with watercolour, although I think you can do that, but you've got to know what you're doing and understand that that's an acrylic is going to act differently to a certain degree. Well, no more. So it must be somewhere odd. Like somewhere you hadn't intended it to be placed. But never mind, we've got these. So let's have a go with what we've got. We've got some blue water here, but we've got loads of white. Loads of fresh water. Let me get my phone out of the way. And we don't want any of those because I'm going to do something different. That's my whole idea. So we get rid of that and we'll plunge into some nice stuff. We'll take these 3 off here, these sheaths. So we've got them ready. Bung the sheaths. I've been bunging all my sheaths into the top piece that came with the Nick Pro set. Like that. It came on top. So I've just been bunging all the sheaths in there. Because I can. We've got another water there. And another water there if I need it. And another one there. Like this little one. Right. So I don't think I'm going to use these bigger ones just now. But I might use these 3 here, or that one, or that one, or all of them. Let's try with this one first. That's the Nick Pro Overwash. Pop him there. And I'll keep that one out. Now I've got some granulating medium I put in here, so I can have a bit of a play with that. This is the Nick Pro Round 10. So let's take the tops off some of these. So we want a couple. That one. And that one. Yeah. 2 pots and a dirty. I've got a dirty to rinse thing. So, if you want to do frustration, anger, what do you associate with frustration and anger? Well, anger, I associate reds. And this one is quinacridone scarlet and cherry quinacridone red. And what's that one? Perylene vermilion and perylene maroon. That's a darker colour. More towards the blue end. This is Vulcan Violet. It's a schminky colour. So it should, with any luck, as it's one of the super granulating colours, granulate. And we've also got Volcano Red. So we've got those few. Let's have a look at what happens when we play with these. This one has not yet been de-gummed. It comes nice and strong like this one. It's not flickable. It's solid because it's got gum arabic in it. So I've just softened this one, and now this one is beautifully soft, right? But it still goes to that lovely point. So let's have some Perylene Maroon. We'll move these apart so I can get to that one. Now, I'm not going to put any water on the page. What I'm going to do is put some colour on the page. And I'm going to use any old strokes I feel like, right? Because I just want to vent a bit from daily life, right? So that's that one. Rinse it off in there. You've got a fair sized brush. So what's this one? This one is Volcano Violet. And it's the swinky one, which should be granulating. Not so much happening. So it seems to be a weaker colour. Not such a strong colour as that Perylene Maroon was. So let's get some of this granulating medium. There's only a little bit left in here, but it hasn't completely dried out, so we'll add some. There'll be a bit of the blue in there, but I don't care. So we'll add a bit of blue and make it more violet-y. A little bit more. Yes, why not? What else we got? We've got Cherry Quinacridone Red, Quinacridone Scarlet, and Perylene Vermilion. So that was the Perylene Maroon we used first there. Always add a bit more of that colour. Give it a bit more strength. And I think to make this stand out a bit more, it might be an idea to use the Ultramarine Intense as well. Now this is the mixed media paper I was using the other day to see if we got more of the paint floating on top of the paper than sinking into it when we were doing those tests with the foil and the sparkly workly colours, otherwise known as metallics. Let's have a little bit of that in here. Yes, give it a bit of granulatiness. So that was Vulcan Violet here, Volcano Violet. Not a very strong colour, not highly pigmented as much as some of the reds are. Okay. Okay. We've also got Prussian blue. I'll just get that out. Like a bit of Prussian blue. Let's put some Prussian blue down here. Oh, that's nice and intense, isn't it? Now then, I've filled it up with a lot of stuff. Let's see if we can get any splatters. Oh, yes. Now, if you want more to happen, the thing to do is to get the paints out of the way and go over it with a bit of water bromohite, perhaps. There we are. To give it more of a spread than a violent reaction, although violent reactions are going to be lovely for anger and frustration. Let's give this a bit more here. And a bit more of this granulating medium. I'm going more into these recordings rather than lives, because it means I can decide not to put it live if I don't want to. No particular reason, just my prime reason for doing these videos in the first place was to have a reference for me. So there we go. That's what it was primarily for. This is cherry quinacridone red, and there's quite a bit on the waxed paper, so let's get some of that off. Let's just get it onto the paper. It's beautifully maroony because it still had some of that blue from the Prussian blue on the paintbrush. Now that's taken up some of those spots that were released by my tapping the paintbrush. Let's rinse that out a bit. Get a bit of fresh. And go back to the... Was that quinacridone cherry? It was, wasn't it? I think so. Let's get some more of that actual colour on there. It's quite a palish colour, that cherry. It's not very strong. So, what's left? Let's just rinse that off and give it a little dry so I can read the paper again. Good. And the last one here is quinacridone scarlet. Let's give it a go. Rinse off, fresh water, try it out. Why am I going in stripes? Oh, don't ask me that. All I'm doing is plunging this into colour. Because I just want to get colour on the page. So we'll put the quinacridone scarlet everywhere. And then, just to make life really difficult, I don't think I've actually tried any of this volcano red yet. So let's get some drops of that. See what that does. Yes, it's paler than some. So, because I want a bit more oomph, a bit more fierceness, I'm going to go back to the Prussian blue, which is the most intense, darkest. Never mind that other one being called ultramarine intense. This one has more oomph because it's a darker colour. Bit more of it. Load up the brush with lots of pigment. Oh, well, never mind. We're putting blobs on now. It seems we don't want to make it look like a mistake, so we're going to add more to it. Why not? I'm quite doodad, otherwise known as angry. So, real life has been a bit of a doodah today. So, I'm going to rinse that off, put that aside. My intention is to come back with some India ink and water. Or perhaps even go now with the India ink and water. Why not? Just to see if any of it mixes in. Oh, gosh, I'm getting red all over my fingernail now. Let's get a tissue, wipe my fingernail. Might get some of it off my fingers as well. Hey. These are the schminky, so we'll put them up the top with the other schminkies. Right. Here's the... Now here I've got India ink and water 1-to-1. So give it a little shake. Rinse out my brush properly because I don't want to leave it in there. Seems to me that the blue stays in the brush longer than any other colour, so you've got to really rinse it out until it comes out pure with no colour on the paper. There. Right, put it away, put the others away. I want something else. Well, I can use that one. And I've got a load of these little thin brushes here, which are Royal and Langnickel Crafter's Choice. They're crafters. They're not professional brushes. So that might work. That wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for the bamboo brush. Bamboo pen, I mean. You know, the one I've used before. But we can't find it, so who cares? So let's see if we can undo this. Oh, and if we can't, we're done for. Satisfying. Look, I've got black on me already. Isn't it irritating when you lose something? You know it's around here somewhere. But can you find it? Of course not. Well, forget that. Let's go for a little brushy. See what we can get away with here. So I want something that indicates anger. So I think angularity is the way to go. Of course, I'm inclined to add something else to it. It is moving a little bit with everything else. I'm just adding some shapes. You know, perhaps the anger is wearing off because I'm not being particularly angular. Now, let's be a bit more angular. Well, that's definitely not angular, is it? What can I have done with that? And, you know, that gets to me. Does that happen to you? You're doing something and you wanted to use a particular implement and you can't find it, and even though you decide you're going to do something else, it still picks at you, harps on you, worries you. What did I do with that? Usually anger just results in a mess. Well, I think we've definitely aimed in that direction. Let's turn this into a less smooth thing. Just because I don't feel very smooth. There we go. A little bit more over here just to emphasize that we are not in a good mood. Here we go. There we are. Let's give that a rinsey poo. Probably not going to turn back to the right colour, but actually it's not turned back to too bad. Got a bit of black around there, but maybe a bit of alcohol will get that off. Anyway, there we are. Good intense stuff. I might put a little bit more down here. And I want that to be a bit more severe. Yeah. I think that's about it. And I went back into there, but I just felt I wanted a bit more. Okay, so that goes. Where did I get that one from? Must have come from the other side of that one, but I'll pop it in there for now. And we'll put the lid on this one because India ink can go everywhere. Right, we'll pop that aside to dry because it's well wet. I think that's pretty effective. Doesn't that give you anger feelings? Doesn't it sort of look as if one had gone? Rawr, rawr. I feel a lot better now. We can do frustration, but that was quite good for anger. Let's pop it on the floor. Right, we want another piece of paper. So the way to get that, because I'm looking at, if you remember, mixed media paper. Gosh, I miss Violet. Right, we've got another bit of paper. This is dry. Fold this over. Right, I need a palette knife to go in there and just pull that apart. So I've got two sheets. one and another. And with that one, I can just snip off this bit. There we go. Pop that in there. Let's have a look at what I've got here. I have got cad yellow, Naples yellow, white, Prussian blue, cobalt turquoise, and alizarin crimson, plus watercolour and lemon yellow and black. So I've got 2 watercolours. These are all gouache. Now, I've not used these with watercolours. I've not used these for a very long time. I had a set of gouache, and I don't know that I ever really used it at all. I think I used it a bit when I was out in the Middle East, but not to any purpose. I'm not remembering what I had done. So, you know, who knows? Didn't learn anything, in other words. I don't really think I learned anything at all. So, why not have a go? Maybe frustration will come out in this one. Although I think I got rid of most of the frustration by doing the anger one. But let's have a just play. We're just testing out colours, trying to see what we can make. Right. Yes, I've got a flat square here. It's a Fumi Wumi. So most of the hairs will probably come out, which is pity because I thought they looked such nice brushes, but didn't turn out that way. And I think I'll have a rigger because I fancy it. And let's have that wet one I was using before. The Nick Pro round number 10. Yeah. Clean up my fingers a bit. And let's have a go. I'll get this one out of the way for now. Let's see what we've got. Because we've got those super granulating ones. And what's this one that's still got a piece of wax paper on it? Indigo. So we might have a go with that. And the other one that's still got some wax paper on it, which you could do with taking off, is the Phthalo Green yellow shade. Let's see what happens with what we've got. So let's start with the watercolour. Why? Well, why not? And besides, the gouache is more opaque, whereas the watercolour is more likely to have some translucency. Although with indigo, you can't tell that until you put it on the paper and then go, oh, look, no translucency whatsoever. No, there is some translucency. Look at that. That's rather nice, actually. Now, wax paper may resist water, but this one has got a hole in it. Okay? Yeah. So I think that's about done for. Chuck that away. Carry on regardless. Good old film. Carry on regardless. British film. With a load of the Carry On people in it. Yeah. And let's see if there's any of that no, there isn't. Let's have a bit more of the granulating medium. Just a little bit. Not much, just a bit. Don't want to waste it all because the last lot Sorry, I'm eating my paintbrush. The last lot stayed in this lid and I couldn't put it on my water. So let's have a bit more of that over here. Why not? I do like the Roman schmaltz colours. That's what these are. Oh, look at that. With the granulating medium underneath, this is producing more sort of spottiness in its colour. Woo! Good-o. Let's have a bit more of that. I wonder what granulating medium does to gouache. I shouldn't think it does much at all, if anything. But before I get that far, I'm going to have a go at this one, try and get rid of the bit of paper on the phthalo green, which doesn't appear to want to come off at all. There's a little bit there that still got some on. There we go. Let's get a bit of that on. Phthalo green yellow shade. Are you sure? Yeah, it says yellow shade. Sometimes when these things say yellow shade, you're going, yellow? Where? There we are. That's the end of that bit of paper. And that bit. Chuck them in the bin. And get a bit more of the actual colour. Oh, look at that granulation there. Lovely. I like that. We're getting quite a bit of paint on the edge, but never mind. We got it up before, didn't we? Right, I want to see what happens when we add gouache. Gouache. What a lovely, soft sounding jellyish sort of word. Gouache. Right, up that one back up there and add a bit of this. Even though it's blue, doesn't matter. We just want some of the granulating on it. I suppose the best way to add granulating medium would probably be by using a pipette to drop some granulating medium into the colour you require to granulate. Then you don't get cross-contamination of colour. Well, not as much. But I don't really care. Not right at the moment, but it's just a test and a play. That's what we're trying to do here. But as I'm here, I've got a pipette. Let's do a bit of that. And that way, of course, we also use up the remnants of the granulating medium that was in that lid. And once I've dried the lid and cleaned it up a bit, I can put it on the pot when I'm finished today. Good-o. So we've got a large area with nothing in it. Let's rinse this off in here. Excuse me, sip. And I want to use some of this. I mean, I would go for this one, wouldn't I? I mean, look at it. It's cobalt turquoise light, otherwise known as looking a lot like teal, which actually is what this is doing. What was that? Phthalo green yellow shade. That was phthalo green yellow shade. Okay, so phthalo green yellow shade looks a lot like my kind of teal. And I'm going to use this little shorty one, short flat. A little bit of this in here and there, simply because I want to see what happens. Mixing it in with the phthalo blue to see if any granulation happens to this as well. Don't do that. What a mess. Let me put that in there. Ditto. Anyway, I can get that further up now. Cleaning this up. And get a little bit more of this. Get some of this out. Right. It's the cobalt teal. Sorry, cobalt turquoise light. And I think I'm going to use some Naples yellow as a transition colour. Still a lot of colour in that. It's that cleaner. Right, Naples yellow. Oh, I like the way the mix is in. It's sort of, they do say that gouache is actually a sort of in between acrylic and watercolour medium. I wouldn't know about that, not yet, but let's have a bit more of a play and see what we feel like. A little bit more of this. Put the cap on that one. I don't want to put any more paint down. So I want to just go over this edge and over that edge a bit. Wipe off some paint off there. Let's get a touch of water, just a touch, and try to mix that in a bit. I like that. So let's have a little bit of this, which is alizarin crimson gouache. Right, I'm putting it on the palette here. See? It's a good bit of granulation there, so I'm not going into that bit so much. Now this is sort of getting it rather maroony. Oh, that's nice. That's nice and daunting. There's, again, a good bit of granulation here. I'm trying to avoid that bit because I like it. A little bit more of that. Alizarin crimson. So that's quite well mixed in here. Mustn't go over that. And go a little deeper here. And add a little bit more of the alizarin. Seems to be doing a fair bit of granulating itself. That's interesting. Lovely. I like those little spots there. I'll leave them. I like the way this is blended in. It's quite intriguing. I think that's enough of that. Or is it? I might just put a bit of water on there and mix that in a little bit. Don't really want to mix that in too much, but that little corner, perhaps. Yes. I'm quite happy with that. That's got a bit of fire to it. Although where the fire's coming from, I think it's coming from here. Shooting upwards. Yes. I'm going to spray this with a bit of water. I feel there's a bit of something going on there that I'm not too keen on. Would be better. Just a hard edge, you see. So if I do that, that's a lot better. I think that's enough. I think that's us this aside now to vegetate. Oh, that's funny. That square brush went and pointed itself. Like that. Whew. But we want it to be a square brush, so tease it back into shape. Now this piece down the bottom here is a little bit on the heavy side. Somewhat wet there. There we go. So these can go and dry somewhere. I've got lots of lovely colour on me. Where's that from? I've already lifted it off there, I think. Ho hum. So, put this down on the floor or somewhere sensible to have a little dry. I've got a hunk of wood over here, so I'm going to pop it on the hunk of wood and let it dry. I've got one more sheet of paper and then I think I'm done. I just wanted to come on and vent a bit. By the time this showed up, it will all have gone away. I'll be much happier. So, Let's try some foil with gouache, because I've not tried that, and that would be interesting. And let's try some of the Hordam Aquarelle, otherwise known as Schminky Super Granulating. So I've got that Tundra Violet, Deep Sea Violet. So is that Tundra Violet? No, it's Tundra Blue. Deep Sea Green. Deep Sea Black. Where's Tundra Violet, for goodness sakes? Supposed to be in amongst these. Tundra Violet, there it is. On that one. Right. A point on that one. Let's have a go with. Let me have a little hunt through these. Looking through all these, I've got this lovely fluffy brush here. Oh well. Don't really think that's suitable. That is one of the Japanese calligraphy brushes. Well, why not? Why not? And that's a brush, thingy brush. Called itself an artist brush, but it's one of those doodah ones. I'd quite like to have a go with, come on out, one of these as well. Isn't this meant to be the specialist brushes? So many of them. Well, that's another one of the Japanese ones. That's a dagger type brush. What happened to all the daggers? I had loads of flipping daggers. All my daggers had disappeared. There's another Japanese one. I know, because guess what? It's got Japanese writing on it. But I had a load of daggers. Where did they go? I know I brought them in. I know I brought them in. Where have they gone? Some squirrel been in here and eaten them. It's about what it's reduced to. Squirrel time. Pop this back over here. That is really odd. I must have a pot on my desk in the other room with all the daggers in. Oh, no, wait a minute. Here we are. This isn't the one I was looking for. It's always where you don't expect. Right. Daggers. Beautiful daggers. Beautiful rigger. I meant to pick that one up. Those two are lovely daggers. And I was looking for that one. And this one. Look at the lovely shape of that. Isn't that gorgeous? And look, It's the flipping bamboo pen I was looking for. Right. Good. Pop that away. So I've got these here. And these. And that one I wanted to have a go with. Well, another go with. Daggers and other strange things. Now, something that will pick up something is a dagger that's got a fair bit of brush to it. Nice shape. This is a Roman Schmalz dagger, 1/2 inch. I think I've got another Roman Schmalz somewhere. 2 Roman Schmalzes. I'm sure I bought a couple of them. There we are. And a 1/4 inch one. Yes, lovely. So let's have a start with Tundra Violet. I've not used much of it. And it was the reason I bought the Roman Schmalz paints in the first place. Trying to clean the edge of the thread of this paint at the same time as getting some of the colour onto the paper. Without actually squeezing the tube, which I seem to have managed. So this is a granulating colour. In fact, a super granulating colour. Put it on. Seem to have cleaned the threads a bit at least. Right. I want a bit more water. And I think I'll add a bit more of this here granulating medium. I've got a feeling I'm going to need a bit more than this. I mean, I've got this one bottle, so I'm going to have to get some more sometime, aren't I? I'm going to enjoy using it this much. Right. Let's do what I did before with the little tubey thing. Pop some on there. And mix it in a bit. Oh, yes, we're getting some colour through now. Now then. Deep sea black. Now, I did not squirt. I did not push the paint out. I just took what was at the tip there. That was, what was it? Deep sea black, yes. We've got here deep sea violet. Because these tiny little 5mm tubes are so expensive, I'm using the tiniest possible amount that I think I can get away with. Let's pick this up and try to get that bit off the paintbrush. There we go. That's a lovely colour. Tundra blue. Oh, look at the richness of that tundra blue. And that's tundra blue. That is that. And that. Lovely. What do we got here next? Deep sea violet. I'll have a little dash of that over here. A little bit more of this. Just to add a little drop here and here and here. I know I'm only playing with these colours. Frankly, you need to play with colours before you find out what you think they would suit as. You know, I mean, until you've got a good idea of what they do on the paper, you're not going to know. Looking at an online swatch from the company isn't good enough. It really isn't. What you want is what it's going to do on the kind of paper you use a lot and in the kind of way you like to paint. Well, I like to mess about. I'm thinking I'm not going to use that last tube. I'm thinking this is going to be well enough. Got a lot of granulating going on here, look. Just there. Lovely. This is a really nice, intense colour. There are not many of these, as far as I can tell, in my use of them so far, have come out all that intense, but this one does. And it was deep sea green, which to me looks more like a turquoise. Less like a green. A lot less like a green. Yeah. So, granulating medium. There's not much left. Let's put a little bit more in. Just a little bit. And this time pick it up with this fancy brush. Yeah. This is a very good brush for doing those sort of marks you get in waves, you know? I doubt if these lines are going to show up. Depends on how quick the areas that I'm putting it on dry. Some of them are quite dry already, so they may last. You know, if you get a darker bit into a lighter bit, maybe. Oh, we'll see what happens with that. I want a little bit more of this over here, though. If we're going to have granulating, let's have granulating. I think I want to put that aside for now. And grab this back. Now this is almost dry. There's some patches where it isn't quite dry. Oh, I'll get some scratch marks on here with this. Look at that. That's nice. Showing up in this area, and you can see the wetness here, but it's not showing the scratches to me. Getting some scratches on that bit. I wonder if that's the granulating or just the fact that I'm wetting it. So, a bit more here. I'm sort of scratching into it with the granulating liquid in the tube. Interesting, isn't it? I'm getting a bit of something going on here. That's the gouache, so I'm getting this dark colour to show up in the gouache, which is rather nice, actually. Let's leave that and just see what happens. I think we're about out of the air, so we're about out of the granulating liquid. It's quite a fun thing to play with. It's always worth playing with things before you decide whether they're for you or not. Because if you don't play with them, how will you ever know? I think granulating liquid is quite fun to play with. And it's something that you use, I'm using now in this playful manner, not knowing what's going to happen, liking some of the things I see, and it's just random marks I'm putting down. So basically, what I've got here is just a crib sheet for later that I can look at later and go, you know, I liked how that worked. Now, how did I do that? I remember doing something like that. And what did I use for it? So you go back and look at your video and you go, that's what I did. Right. And then you know what you can test, what you can try on whatever it is you're doing at the moment, which may be in a completely different medium, but might work in a similar sort of way. If it's a water reactive paint, it probably would. For instance, it might work on something like Distress, which is a water reactive paint. So you never know. You never know. Right, I think that's about all I want to do today. Unfortunately, Violet couldn't come and join us. She's busy eating her din-dins. So we don't want her to rush. So there we go. We'll just leave that for now. I wasn't going to come on at all today, but I felt the need to vent a bit of spleen. And I think I've done that in some of these paintings. I've got this one, which is really rather calm, with a little bit of fire there, but quite calm in the end. And then we've got this one, which is a lot of nonsense, a load of clouds, colours, and gives me the idea that this is a really good one. I thought it was going to be Tundra Violet because I loved the swatch on the company's website. Whoever had done that. It was lovely. And then there's this one. But I'm thinking it's the cobalt teal, cobalt turquoise I'm going to like out of that set most. And then, as I say, then there was this one, which was me trying to vent the anger that I had. It wasn't anything, that caused it. It was probably nobody's fault, but it's so frustrating when it's happening to you. So that's a good way to vent. Nice strong colours and some nice black added to it to just vent it out, There we go. So now I touched it by accident, and now I've got a black spot on my finger from the India ink. That's the thing about India ink. It does kind of play with you whenever you try. So there we are. That's all I want to look at today. All I was doing, just a bit of a play. So I will say bye-bye to you all. Our next thing to try out is the bleed-proof white, which I want to try out on some of the other test paintings, the ones where we're just trying stuff out. Like this one with the owl. Might be the idea to try a little bit of that. Or perhaps one of the beach ones. Who knows? Let's see what happens when we get round to it. I don't know. Might not. At least I've got it there. But the white gouache should do a similar job. You can always go some of these with white gouache afterwards and see what happens. Just to find out. Okay, I'm going to say bye-bye for now. And I probably won't make this one public, but we'll see. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Here's one. Here's the two. Mad Scientist.